Welcome back to the 311 Griffin YouTube channel. I'm Max, and once again, thanks to Eagle Dynamics allowing us to try out some of the modules for free for a month, I'm flying the JF-17 Thunder in the Dubai obstacle course that I've got set up. And this is my second flight in it, so it could be better. Obviously, as you fly them more, you get better at them. But so this is kind of a really quick first thoughts and review of this aircraft. First and foremost, I want to say that this one's kind of like the Tomcat. The controls were a lot less screwy when I first got into it, and so it required a lot less editing of the controls. They were a lot more logical. There's also, I didn't notice this until later, there's also a lot more options. There's some really crazy options in this thing. When you go into the options for this specific aircraft, there's a lot you can tweak. Some of it I don't even know what it is. I would have to do a lot of research and testing with his aircraft to figure it out. But so I was impressed with that. Those are the only two, the F-14 and this were the only two modules I found so far that didn't require a ton of work because of the controls being set up in really stupid ways. I don't know why DCS continues to have modules that have, you know, all of the axis controls mapped to every peripheral device that you have, kind of a thing. But anyway, this was a little bit easier to get into and set up. It seems like it's not quite as fast. Maybe it doesn't accelerate quite as well as, say, the F-15, F-16, or the M2000 for me so far. But it turns really well. When I took off, it pitched up really quickly. It surprised me. It pitched up so high. So you could probably get yourself into a bind there. I kind of messed up here. I got a little bit high and didn't quite turn the way I should have to get lined up here. So I think I wasted a little bit of time getting lined up on this slalom portion of the course. But it turned really well. I was very impressed with how smooth it was. In fact, I think I flew it even smoother than the M2000. I guess I need to time just this section, but I think that this is the best I've gone through this section ever. I might have gone through a touch slow in terms of speed, but I think I was really, really smooth with it. And this aircraft handles really well. I'm impressed with it a lot. And like I've said in another video, I think it was one of the tournament videos I've been doing, where I was talking about this aircraft. There's some features on this aircraft that I'm very impressed with that I think should be incorporated on a lot of fighter aircraft. Leading edge route extensions. It's got some really impressive ones. And I believe they call them supersonic diverterless inlets. Maybe it's diverterless supersonic inlets. Yeah, I think it's DSI. Anyway, the bumps in front of the intakes on your inlets, it makes it so that the first stage compressor blades are a little bit, they're not visible to radar, or at least they're much less visible, and you can really see them in this shot here, both of those features that I'm talking about. I think that those are a couple of things, along with planform design, you know, smart planform design, and just trying to keep the aircraft as compact and lightweight and efficient as possible, are things that could really do a lot to improve fighter performance in terms of cost, and also low-tech stealth that doesn't require as much time on the ground per flight hour, and allows these aircraft to get higher sortie rates and higher flight hours per maintenance hour and things like that. I think that these are really good design features that should be incorporated. So anyway, once again, I flew too high, and that slows you down if you go up above the 20,000 foot mark too much. That really slows you down, so that could be improved. It's flying really well here. I didn't come up as high. Well, first let me back up. That straight where I lined out on the runway before the climb, I came out of that last turn a little bit too high there. On this particular turn, I think I climbed a little late, so I could have slowed down more and made that turn a little bit sharper. But it wound up turning pretty sharp anyway. So again, it seems like a very forgiving aircraft. There's something, I don't know what system it has for not over G'ing, not performing, too many G's in a pitch up maneuver. Like I said earlier, it pitches really well. But whenever I pulled on, max stick deflection, it makes an interesting noise, and I don't seem to have really any trouble at all with blacking out. I'm wondering if there's like an override switch in it that I need to research so that I could actually pull more G's. I suspect I would have to be really careful with that, but I haven't. I never even came close to blacking out in this aircraft, which tells me that it has more performance to give. And whenever I'm doing this course, I tend to, on my turns, I really like to get really close to the blackout and then relax the stick just a little bit. That might actually not be good because you're bleeding off a lot of energy when you do that. So your energy maintenance is probably lacking when you do stuff like that, but that's kind of the way I fly so far. So as we come up on the exit gate here, I thought this was going to be really ugly, but I wound up making it through, and not the best time in the world, but it is sub 6 minutes, so I rounded up to 5:59, so we just barely beat 6 minutes. It was really close to 5:59. It was 5:58, and I think 27 frames, 25 frames, something like that. But we'll take a look at the external view here. Visibility, just like the M2000 and the F-15 and the F-16 and pretty much any aircraft that I fly other than the F-16. Visibility is a little bit lacking. In this one in particular, looking back, which I didn't do any of in this run because I was looking, it's not like I'm dogfighting or anything like that, but looking back would be a little bit trickier than in, say, the F-15, F-18, F-16, those kinds of aircraft, because you don't have a taller bubble. Out the side, you've got the refueling boom. It doesn't get too much in the way, and honestly, it would be easier to refuel, I would assume, than in one where the boom is back behind you, but that's of minor concern, especially in the sim. But it flies well. Like I said, I don't think it's as fast, but it seems to turn really well. So I may have to try to dogfight this one. I'm becoming more of a fan of this aircraft. The more I look at it, the more I study it. There's just a lot to like about this aircraft, so it's pretty impressive. So here, again, I think I mentioned this before, but I didn't turn as well as I could have here, and I kind of missed my cue on when to level out of the turn. I get a little bit too high here, and so I have to come back down. I can trade it back for airspeed, but it's not a very efficient way to fly. And then this section again, I think this is the best I've ever done this section. So not that it can't be done better, but just for me, I struggle with this. I struggle being smooth with this. I kind of maybe shortcut that first gate. I didn't notice that before. I think I flew directly over the cone, so that could potentially be a penalty, but it was close. It wasn't like a gross penalty, I guess. And here I might have slowed down too much here because in the Mirage, which I flew first, I missed this gate, if you remember from that video. And so then the next time I flew it, I actually slowed way down in the Mirage right there. And then here, I don't know if I was slowing down too much. I definitely got too much altitude there. So again, inefficient flying. But I got lined out on the runway a little bit better than I did with the Mirage. Pick up as much speed as possible. It's holding, this thing was really docile. I got it lined out there, and it was easy to keep straight and level. I also think that I did the turn up here. I think I was lined up better on the window than I was with the Mirage, but again, I went too high. So I rotated the other way, maybe losing some tenths of a second there, rotating the wrong way, but had to do a little rudder work to keep it straight up in the air, and came over the top a little bit late, but so yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get this in a scrap with an F-16 and just see. I suspect that the F-16 is going to turn better, accelerate better, and things like that. And I'm more used to the F-16's pipper and systems and things like that a little bit. I'm not an expert on those, but a little bit better. And so we'll see. But I'm going to have to learn a little bit about this and get it in a scrap just to see how it does. Because like I said, I'm impressed with it. Oh, I'm losing sight there a little bit of my plane. Oh, there it is. Sometimes when you're using the head tracking to do your cameras and stuff, it's really easy to get kind of mixed up. So I don't have a lot more to say right now, so I'm just going to let the rest of this play out. But again, I like the aircraft. It's very fun, and I certainly appreciate the chance to get it and tool around in it a little bit. So thanks to the developers and for allowing that. And with that, I'll just shut up and thank you guys for watching. Enjoy.